What a lot I got. Look at the excitement of these colors all in front of me. It really is like an explosion. Almost Smarty Box, but no blue ones. You know what I mean. This is what you get when you can find and get your hands on some of these beautiful Coleus. Remember, you don't need to buy them in pots as big as this. At some garden centres, you can find them in little packs of 4. So 4 little punnets, which really, you're planting up a big area, that's the way to go, because more bang for your buck. That's what we're all about in gardening. So let's look at them. They've got beautiful names like Kong, Limelight, Hannah, Vino. You can see where the Vino comes from. And these you're going to find all over. Now, remember I spoke to you about the flowering. Very important. Can you see this little guy here? Starting to flower already. Really, I know you're going to think it's sacrilege, but please, folks, if you want to keep this color and this vibrancy, that's what you've got to do. Because when the plant starts flowering, all the energy is going into the flower. It's saying, I've got to make seeds for the next generation. I need more babies. We really don't want seeds. We want leaves. So all you've got to do, thumb and forefinger, go where the little plant is. There it is. Just snap that off, and that's it. All I want you to do, as you're going along, while you're walking around, and just snap it off. Very important to do that, because as you're doing that, you're forcing the plant hormones down and you're forcing it to put more growth into the color and the intensity, which is what we want. Okay, these are all these babies. Look at him. Look at that guy. Isn't it beautiful? It's like velvet. Like velvet. And there's so many things that you can use with them and plant combinations that you can use. I want to show you how we're going to do it in a potted combination. So if you're on a patio, if you want to just do something at your front door, you can do something with incredible vibrancy. And I'm going to be using a few of these plants that I've got here. I'll tell you more about them now. All right, folks, I've got some gorgeous plants here that I'm going to combine into this lovely low bowl-shaped terracotta pot. Remember, always make sure that the drainage hole is open. What we're going to do in the base is we're going to throw in some drainage pebbles. Just some nice coarse guys like this. Don't use your pretty ones. In they go. Lovely. We don't need that anymore. And then I've got my potting soil here. Potting soil straight from the garden centre. Remembering, folks, we're not recycling it. We're not using the old one from the dead plants. We've got some fresh potting soil in my trug, and we're just going to pimp it up just a wee bit. In it goes 1 or 2 handfuls of organic pellets. Next thing that goes into it is some fairy dust. We all know what that is, hey? Some bone meal, 2 handfuls of bone meal, good for root development. And then a few handfuls of some coconut husk, and that's going to aid moisture. Remember, the coconut husk has this amazing ability to be able to hold in the moisture. And the biggest problem with pots that we find is drying out. That's all the main reason why we battle and why the plants don't do all that well in it. It's particularly just because of drying out. So once I've got that all in there, that should be enough. Let's find my little trowel, and then let's just give it a good mixing. What we want is our scoop, and let's get a good few scoopfuls of the potting soil into the base of the pot. We're going to fill it up about halfway, because these pots are quite large that we're going to be putting in here in this combination. Now, of course, you don't need to put in 3 plants or a combination of plants. You could just plant the whole thing up, just mass it up. 3 Coleus inside this pot on their own would make a brilliant statement and a huge impact in anyone's garden. But I like using combinations because, well, you just get more out of one pot. It's like 3 for the price of 1. So in this baby goes here. Right, let's start playing. Now, in the pot, I'm using a combo of the following. I've got this beautiful Coleus, okay? I've got a Coreopsis. Look at that color, man. Coreopsis is a great plant. It's a perennial. So true perennial, exactly the same as your Coleus. It flowers right throughout the summer. And even into autumn, and in some places, in the warmer places, will continue to flower through winter. So treat it exactly the same as we just demonstrated with the Coleus. When it starts getting scraggly at the base, you're going to prune it back. All right, prune it back. Dressing of compost with the organic pellets, and away it comes again. If you treat it like that, you can get years out of this plant, absolute years. So enjoys the same conditions, and notice that I'm picking up on the red. Do you see that red just in the eye there? I'm picking up on that with the Coleus. And then Grey is always great for contrasting. Ooh, and I've got this hot, sexy new Pennisetum. It's called Modre. It is gorgeous. This is going to give me the height. Beautiful, elegant, soft against these two form plants, which are quite rigid. So this baby is going to go in first. Let's grab it over here. Just pull off the bag. That's it. Grasses are very excitable plants. They get lots of roots, so just open up the roots a bit here, and I'm going to pop this baby in the back, because that's going to give me my height and my apex. Bit of height, a bit of elegance. This guy will grow up and just plume over, literally like a fountain. All right, next in, I'm going to put the Coreopsis. My Coreopsis also, just open up those roots just a wee bit there. Okay, and Coreopsis is going to go in right here. Oh, man. Almost edible. Okay, and my last plant that's going to go in is my queen of the moment, the beautiful star, and that is the awesome Coleus. Pop him in there, and look how those colours are just jumping. You can see we've got the quite hard shape here, rigid shape of the Coleus, ball shape of the Coreopsis, and then the softness of that. So as time goes on, this is going to give you your height, ball out, and this will spread out and fill it all in this space here. So what we've got to do now, fill in the gaps, and we'll fill all the gaps in with the potting soil. Remember, use the back end of your trowel to firm it down in between. Let's get that going, and I'm going to show you how gorgeous it's going to look in a few seconds. There we have it, bursts of colour, and you have to admit that this is an explosion, really gorgeous, vibrant, and this pot could go anywhere. Remember, full sun or half-day sun. You've got the Coreopsis that you're going to treat the same as the Coleus, and then you've got this beautiful Pennisetum grass. When the grass gets untidy and out of hand, all you're going to do is come along with your pair of secateurs and cut it back really hard at the base. Important to do that, and in time, maybe in the second year of this pot, you might want to remove this grass, prune it back and plant it into your garden, and then all that happens is all of these plants just spread out and take over the rest of the pot. So the pot changes and it has different moods, and as the seasons move forward. All that's left now is a very good watering. A pot like this in the beginning is going to need water at least twice a week, and I would continue to do that because they are quite thirsty. Remember, we have put organic pellets in here, so it is going to have enough nutrition for the first 4 weeks of its life. Thereafter, I would encourage you to use a liquid fertilizer that you dilute into your watering can, and you can just, as you're watering, so you're feeding the plant. And folks, that's it. They've come back into fashion with a bang, and the bang is more about the colour. Go out and enjoy them.